Welcome back. This is Sat Math Level 1 complete course, and there are 4 parts. Part 1, Heart of Algebra. Part 2, Problem Solving and Data Analysis. Part 3, Passport to Advanced Math. And Part 4, Additional Topic in Maths. Okay, so it's a complete course. Let's begin. And welcome back to this course, Sat Math Level 1, and the course is divided into 4 parts. Part 1 is Heart of Algebra, Part 2 is Problem Solving and Data Analysis, Part 3 is Passport to Advanced Math, and Part 4 is Additional Topics in Maths. So let's begin with Part 1. Okay, so these are the topics that we're going to cover in Part 1, Heart of Algebra. So what are the topics? Topic 1 is linear functions, then interpreting linear model, then simultaneous equations, system of equation, and inequalities. So these topics are also available in Olevel Math Syllabus as well. So yeah, if you're going to understand, complete this course, then you will also be able to complete O-level math course as well. Okay, so there are some topics which are common in both SAT Math Level 1 and in O-level math as well. So let's start with linear functions. This is our topic 1. Okay, linear function. Lines are just function in the form fx is equals to mx plus c, which is why they are often referred to as linear functions. So it's a function. Y is equals to mx plus c. You can also denote it as fx. This is the gradient. It could be positive gradient or negative gradient. Okay, the gradient m is the measure of the steepness of the line. The bigger the gradient, the more steeper is the line. Okay. This is how you find the gradient. C is the y-intercept. We can find the length of a line between any 2 points by using Pythagoras theorem. Okay, so this is the Pythagoras theorem. We can find the midpoint of any 2 point of the line. Okay. This is the midpoint, and how to find this? x1 plus x2 upon 2. We got the midpoint of x and the same thing as y. Then parallel lines and perpendicular line. What is parallel line, perpendicular line? Parallel lines if they have the same gradient but different y-intercept, but they have the same gradient. And perpendicular line if the gradient of this line multiplying by gradient of this line is equals to -1, and also perpendicular line if they are both perpendicular and intersecting at 90 degree. Okay, horizontal line where gradient is 0, vertical line where the gradient is in infinity. Topic 1 is done. Topic 2. These are very small topics and it's very easy to understand. Okay, question 1. In 2014, the country X had 783 miles of paved roads. Starting in 2015, the country has been building 8 miles of new paved road each year. At this rate, if n is the number of years after 2014, which of the following function f gives the number of miles of paved road there will be in country X? Assume that no paved road go out of service. Okay, so it says that in 2014, country X had 783 miles of paved road in 2014. Okay, so 783. Starting in 2015, the country has been building 8 miles of new paved road each year, which means there will be an addition of 8 miles every year. Okay, at this rate, if n is the number of years, okay, so n is the number of years, so we will write n. After 2014, which of the following function f gives the number of miles of paved road? So it's going to be like this. And so I think this is the answer. C is the answer. Okay, this is how you try to solve the question. This is what is interpreting linear model. You try to make a linear model by interpreting it. Okay, C is the answer. Okay, question 2. The value V in dollar of a home from 2006 to 2015 can be estimated by the equation V is equals to 24 to 240,000 minus 5,000 T, where T is the number of years since 2016. Part 1. Okay, we're first of all going to do part 1 and part 2. Part 1 is which of the following best describes the meaning of the number 240,000 in the equation? Which of the following best describe the meaning of number 240,000 in the equation? Okay, so we have this equation. So what is 240,000? It could be the value of a home in 2006. Okay, this is part A. Part A is the answer. And then part 2, which of the following best describes the meaning of the number 5000 in the equation? The number of homes sold each year, the yearly decrease in the value of the home, the difference between the value of 2006 and 2015, the yearly decrease in the value of the home per square feet. I think it is part B because it is decreasing every year. The price always decrease every year. Okay, so 240,000 is the original value of the home in 2006, and then when year passed, then 5,000 will be deducted each year. Okay, so answer is A in part 1 and answer is B in part 2. Okay, interpreting linear models topic is done. Now topic 3, simultaneous equation. Maisa bought a pair of pants and a briefcase at a department store. The sum of the prices of the pant and the briefcase before sale tax was $130. There was no sales tax on the pants and a 9% sale tax on the briefcase. The total Maisa paid, including the sale tax, was $136.75. What was the price in dollars of the pants? Okay. Maisa bought a pair of pants and a briefcase at a department store. A pair of pants and a briefcase at a department store. The sum of the price of the pant and briefcase before tax was $130. There was no sale tax on the pants and a 9% sale tax on the briefcase. The total Maisa paid, including the sale tax, was $136.75 after the sale tax. Before sale tax, the sum was $130. After sale tax, it was $136.75. Okay. So what was the price in dollar of the pants? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to deduct this, and then we will get $6.75, and you can just say that this is 9% sale tax on the briefcase. Okay. We got two unknown values, so we will use substitution to find the values. 75 is the answer. Now put the value in any of the two equations. The answer for x will be same. Question 2. A group of 30 students order lunch from a restaurant. Each student gets either a burger or a salad. The price of a burger is $5 and the price of a salad is $6. If the group spent a total of $162, how many students ordered burgers? Okay. So it's saying that a group of 30 students order lunch from a restaurant. Each student gets either a burger or a salad. The price of a burger is $5 and the price of the salad is $6. If the group spent a total of $162, which means whoever purchased a burger, so it's going to be $5 plus, and whoever purchased a salad, it's going to be $6, and it will be equal to $162. How many students ordered burgers? 30 students will get either a burger or a salad. So B, those who have taken burger will be the number of students taking a burger will be B, and number of students who have taken a salad will be S, is equals to 30 students. So now we have these two equations, and if we do simultaneous solve, 5B plus 6S is equals to 162, and then we have this equation as well, so we're going to substitute it. So let's say 30 minus x s plus 6s is equals to 162. 5 3 is 15. 150 minus 5s plus 6s is equals to 162, and then 150 plus s is equals to 162, and then s is equals to 12. So there were a total of 12 people who ordered salad, and if we put the value in here, we will find out that the total number of people who ordered a burger will be 18. So these are the answers. This is how you do simultaneous solve. Okay, so these are two equations. Using the substitution method, you get the value. Okay, question 3. On a math test with 30 questions, 5 points are rewarded for each correct answer and 2 points are deducted for each incorrect answer. If James answered all the questions and scored 59 points, solving which of the following system of equation gives his number of correct answer x and his number of incorrect answer y on the math test? X plus 5 is equals 15. Okay, so on a math test with 30 questions, 5 points are rewarded for each correct answer. Okay, correct answer, so let's say C is known as the correct answer. Multiply by 5 points, and 2 points are deducted for each incorrect answer, which means minus 2 multiply by incorrect answer. If James answered all the question and scored 59 points, it scored 59 points, solving which of the following system of equation gives us this and that. So 5c minus 2i is equals to 59, or you can just write it down as 5x minus 2y is equals to 59. This is equation 1. Also, we know that x plus y is equals to 30, total number of questions. Now we got two simultaneous solves. So the answer will be D. The answer will be D. Okay, simultaneous equation is done. The topic is done. Now, system of equation, the next topic. A system of equation refer to two or more equations that deal with the same set of variables. A system of linear equation in two variables can be solved by graphing the line in the coordinate plane. If the equation in a system of two line equation in two variables are graph, each graph will be a line. There are three possibilities. The line intersect in one point, in this case number 1. The line intersect in one point, in this case the system has a unique solution. We can do the simultaneous solve using the substitution to find the coordinates of the intersection points. And number 2 is the line are parallel. In this case the lines are parallel. In this case the system has no solution because there is no intersection, so no solution. Is the lines are identical. In this case every point on the line is a solution, and so the system has infinitely many solution. So number of solutions are infinite because obviously it is infinitely intersecting. The two lines are intersecting one another infinitely. Okay, you can just see this points after points coming. So these are three possible ways. And now we have this modulus. You can just see here, this is a modulus. It doesn't matter what kind of input you will give, whether it's a negative, whether it's a positive, but it will always give a positive output. This is what modulus really means. So right here we have the modulus, and we have the second equation, which is this is the second equation. A system of two equations and their graph in the xy plane are shown. How many solutions does the system have? The solution is 2. There are two solutions. Okay, there are two solutions. There are two intersections. Okay, system of equation is done. Now inequalities. Graphical and solution of equation of inequalities. There are a number of things that you need to understand. A less than B means A is less than B. So yeah, just need to remember this. These are the sign, and this is how you solve the inequality. 3x plus 4 less than 10. If someone asks you to solve this inequality, that is 3 inequality, then take this as an equal sign. Okay, 4 will come, the number 4 will go to the right side, so 3x 6, and then 6 is divided by 3, so it's going to be 2. 2 is the answer. Okay, and let's say that we have this another inequality, minus 2x minus 10 less than 2. 10 will go on the right side, so it will become positive, so 12 minus 2x less than 12. And one thing to remember is whenever you try to divide a negative number, the inequality sign will change. Anytime you divide a negative number, the inequality sign will change. So right here we have this number minus 2, and if I try to make a division to 12 upon minus 2, then the inequality sign will change, and 12 upon minus 2 is 6. Minus 6 is the answer. If you multiply or divide an inequality by a negative number, you must reverse the inequality sign. You can just check this out. We have this minus 2x and minus 12. If you cancel out the minus sign, then the inequality sign will also change. Will change on this one as well. Okay. Find on the integer which satisfy both 2x plus 7 less than 3 and x greater than minus 4. So according to the given inequality, the integers will be minus 4 and minus 3. Okay, so minus 4 and minus 3. The closed dot shows that minus 4 included. The open dot shows that minus 3 is not included. Okay, so let's say that we have this equation, and find the inequality. Okay, so first of all we are going to break it down. So 2 minus x, 2x plus 3, and 2x plus 3, x plus 6. Whenever you have been given these kind of question, you will always try to break it down. Okay, so x will come to the right side and 3 will come to the left side, so it's going to be minus 1 and 3x, and minus 1 upon 3x. So this is the answer. As for this one, 3 will come to the right side, x will come to the left side, so x 3. This is the answer. So this is the answer. This is the inequality that we need to find. Okay. Inequalities in graph form. It is often possible to show the region on a graph that satisfies an inequality. See this carefully, the animation. We shade this region according to the given inequality. Question 1. Ecologists have determined that the number of frogs y must be greater than or equal to 3 times the number of snakes for a healthy ecosystem to be maintained in a particular forest. In addition, the number of frogs and the number of snakes must sum up to at least 400. So this is part 1. Which of the following system of inequalities express these conditions for a healthy ecosystem? Okay. Ecologists have determined that the number of frog y must be greater than or equal to 3 times the number of snake x. 3 times, okay. So y greater than equal to 3x for a healthy ecosystem to be maintained in a particular forest. In addition, the number of frogs and the number of snakes must sum up to at least 400. At least y plus x greater than 400. So this is the answer. Part 2. What is the minimum possible number of frogs in a healthy ecosystem? Okay, so part 2 is what is the minimum possible number of frogs in a healthy ecosystem. Okay, how to solve this? For that we will use the graph, we will use our imagination. We will try to draw the graph. We will try to predict. Okay, so I'm going to draw the graph. So we have these equation and we'll try to make a graph. Y is equals to 3x. Y is equals to 3x, so it's going to be like this. 3 is the gradient, so it's going to be more steeper. And y plus x is equal to 400, so you could just write it down as 4y is equals to minus x plus 400. So minus x, which means negative gradient, and plus 400, which means it's going to be really up, or maybe minus x plus 400, it's going to be like this. Okay, it's going to be a straight line. It's going to be a straight line. Okay, so this is the straight line. So this is the intersection, and this is the minimum possible number of frogs in a healthy ecosystem. Okay, do the simultaneous solve. So y is equals to 3x and y plus x is equals to 400. Doing the simultaneous solves, then 400. So this is the minimum possible number of, you can say, snakes. Okay, we need to find the possible number of frogs. So this x value is snake, so x is equal to 100, and then if we try to put this value into here, then y is equals to, okay, so it's 300. 300 is the possible number of frogs. We can find the coordinates of the intersection point by a substitution, and we'll do the substitution, we get the values. Question 2. To get to work, Harry must travel 8 miles by bus and 60 miles by train every day. The bus travels at an average speed of x miles per hour and the train travels at an average speed of y miles per hour. If Harry's daily commute never takes more than 1 hour, which of the following inequality represent the possible average speed of the bus and train during the commute? Let's read this again. Question 2. To get to work, Harry must travel 8 miles by bus and 60 miles by train every day. 8 miles by bus, so 8 is the distance, and upon the bus travel at an average speed of this 8 upon x, or maybe not, the bus travel at an, let's say 8 upon t is equals to x for the bus, for the average speed of the bus, and 16 upon t is equals to y for the average speed of the train. Okay, if Harry daily commute never takes more than 1 hour, and it also must be not more than 1 hour. Okay, so let me see, yeah, so 8 upon x is equals to t, 16 upon y is equals to t, let's say t1 and t2, and it must not be more than 1 hour, so t1 plus t2 less than or equal to 1, which means 8 upon x plus 16 upon y less than equal to 1. Which is the correct one? This is the correct answer. This is the answer. Okay, inequality is done. The part 1 heart of algebra is done of the video completed, and now in the next video it's going to be part 2. We will start with the second part of SAT Math Level 1. So hello and welcome back. This is SAT Math Level 1 Part 2, and today the part 2 is problem solving and data analysis. And yeah, let's start. So in part 2 we're going to cover these topics starting with ratio, proportion, units and percentages. Okay, starting with this topic 1 of part 2. Ratio can be expressed as a upon b or a divided by b, or where the two quantities can have the same unit of measure or different unit of measure. A rate is also like a ratio. Increase and decrease by a given ratio. Question: increase $5 in ratio this. Question: decrease $32 in ratio this. Increasing $5 in a ratio. So the numerator must be greater than the denominator in order to increase. So 8 5s are 40 and 40 upon 3. So if I'm going to use a calculator, then it's going to be $0.30. Okay, this is the answer for question 1. And as for question 2, and the numerator must be less than the denominator in order to decrease this. Okay, if I'm going to use a calculator, then it's going to be 28. So $28 is the answer. Divide a quantity by a given ratio. Okay, now we have another question. Amy and Ben share $360 in the ratio 3 and 2. 3 is the ratio for Amy and 2 is the ratio for Ben, and both of them share this $360. How much is Ben's share? In order to find out, first of all, we're going to sum up the ratio. It would be 5, and then since 3 ratio 2 is the ratio for Ben having a share of $360. So 2 upon 5 multiplied by 360. And if I use a calculator, then $144 is the Ben share. And if I want to know what is the Emmy share, then 3 upon 5 360 is equals to, so 3 upon 5 multiplied by 360, and it's 216 is the Emmy's share. Okay, direct proportion is the relationship between two quantities whose ratio remains constant. Okay, so we have this question. A bag contains red and blue pens in the ratio 2:7. There are 18 red pens in the bag. How many blue pens are in the bag? So red pens and blue pens, the ratio is 2:7. And what happens if we have 18 red pens, and how many blue pens will we have? Okay, so we're going to do cross multiply. Okay, we're going to cross multiply, and 2x is equals to 18 multiplied by 7, and then x is equals to, I'm using a calculator, 63. Okay, this is how you do the question, and this question is an example of direct proportion relationship. Okay, inverse proportion is known as increase in one quantity causes a decrease in another quantity. For example, if fruit is to be picked by hand, the more people they are picking the fruit, the less time it will take. Question: if three men took 8 hours to build a wall, how long will it take 4 men to do it? Okay, remember that this is inverse proportion and this is direct proportion, so there's a big difference between these two. So what we're going to do, we're going to multiply 3 by 8, so it's going to be 24. Okay, then we need to find out that how much time will it take how much time will it take by 4 men to make the wall. Okay, so 24 upon 4, and you will get 6 hours. Okay, what we did, we just multiplied these two numbers and then we divide this by 4 to get the number of hours. Okay, this is how you do it whenever you get the inverse proportion questions like these. Okay, unit conversions measures length, area, volume, liquid, mass, time. Starting with length: millimeter, centimeter, centimeter, meter, meter to kilometer, kilometer to meter, meter to centimeter, centimeter to millimeter. Then area, same thing. Then volume, same thing. Then liquid, 1 liter is equals to 1000 centimeter cube or milliliters. Okay. Okay, remember that. As for mass, it's the same thing, gram to kilogram, kilogram to gram. As for time, it's the same thing, second to minute, minute to hour, hour to minute, minute to second. So what did we learn here? We have noted that going from bigger to smaller, we multiply, going from smaller to bigger, we divide. Okay, so if we try to go from smaller to bigger, for example, that we are going from centimeter to meter, then we will do divide by 100. So it's going to be division whenever we're going from smaller to bigger, and whenever we try to come from bigger to smaller, then it's going to be multiplication, so multiply by 100. Okay, unit conversion is done. Proportion. Question: the radius of the circle is increased by 25%. By what percent does the area of the circle increase? By what percent? So the radius of a circle is increased by 25%. By what percent does the area of the circle increase? What is the area? What is the formula for the area of a circle? It's actually pi r square. And what happens if the radius of a circle is increased by 25%? So increased by 25%, which means that r multiplied by 1.25. Okay, so it's increased by 25%. So pi multiply r 1.25 square. Okay, so it's pi r square multiplied by 1.25 square. And yeah, this is the answer. The area increased by 56.25%. Another question. Question 2. The length of a rectangle is increased by 20%. The width is decreased by 20%. Which of the following accurately describe the change in the area of the rectangle? I should have wrote that what is the change. Okay, so the real question is, what is the change? What is the change in the area of the rectangle? Okay, so finding the area of a rectangle, we know that area is equals to length multiplied by breadth. But what happens if, okay, so length is increased by 20%, so it's actually 1.20 and then length. Okay, and breadth is decreased by 80%, so it's going to be 0.80 multiplied by breadth. So length multiplied by breadth multiplied by 1.20 multiplied by 0.80. Okay, and if I do it by hand, then it's going to be 80. Okay, so 0 0 0 0, and then 12 to 6 are 12, to 5 are 10, to 3 are 6, to, okay, then 8 3s are 24. Oh wait, 8 to the 16, 8 3s are 24, and 24 upon 25. Okay, and which means that it's going to be like 0.96 is the answer, which means that area will decrease by the area is decreased by 4%. Electric power P is related to the voltage V and resistance R by the formula above. If the voltage were half, how would the electric power be affected? So it's saying that if the voltage is half, okay, then how would the electric power be effective? So it's going to be like, 1 upon 4 V square upon R, again writing it like, V square upon 4 upon R, and then it's going to be reciprocal, so it's going to be V square upon 4R, and yeah, the power will be 1 upon 4 P. Okay, this is the answer. The electric power would be a quarter of what it was. Okay. Question 4. The triangle above, the length of the side relate to one another as shown. If a new triangle is created by decreasing as such that the area of a new triangle is 64% of the original area, S must have been decreased by what percent? First, we know that the area of a triangle is 1 upon 2 multiplied by length multiplied by breadth. But then we have these two SS, so the area is 1 upon 2 s square. Okay, this is the original area of the triangle. But what happens if we try to decrease s by some factor? Okay, so if we try to decrease s by some factor, let's say it is x, okay, and square, then the area then the area would be 64% of the original area. Okay, so 0.64. So here you go, we have found the equation. Now we need to simplify it. Okay, so 0.64 is equals to 1 upon 2 s square multiplied by x square, and we know that 1 upon 2 s square is a, so a cancel out, leaving only 0.64 is equals to x square. Then if we try to take the square root, then it's going to be 0.80 is equals to x. So there you go, which means that s must be the value of s must be 0.80%. S must be 80% in order to get the area of the new triangle. Okay, so it means that s must be decreased by 20%. Okay, we have found that the value of x is 0.80, which means if we try to decrease s by 20%, or if we have the value of s by 80%, then you will get the area by 64%. Okay, yep. Percentages. What is a percentage? 75% divided by 100 and decimal fraction. So this is what a percentage really is. So find the 15% of $240. So 240 multiplied by 0.15. And if I try to use a calculator, then it's going to be $36. Okay, this is the answer. Okay, question 2. Okay, I have done the mistake. It's not 30.6, it's actually $36. Okay, so the answer would be $36. Okay, question 2. Selma spent $4 of her $20 spending money on a visit to the cinema. What percentage is this? So 4 upon 20 multiplied by 100. Okay, 4 ones are 4, 4 fives are 20, 5 ones are 5, 5 twos are. So it's actually 20%. Question 3. An engineer received an increase of 3% in her annual salary. Her salary was $24,000 before the increase. What is her new salary? So it was 24,000 multiplied by 1.03, because it is increased by 3%. Okay, and so the answer would be, I'm using a calculator right now, actually 24720. This is her new salary. Congratulations. Question 4. In a sale, all prices are reduced by 15%. Find the sale price of an article previously priced at 17.60. In a sale, all prices are reduced by 15%. In a sale, find the sale price of an article previously priced at 17.60. So 17.60 multiplied by 0.85, because this would be the original price, since it has been a discount of 15%. So and so if I use a calculator, $14.96. Okay, this is the answer. Yeah. Question 5. An art dealer buys a painting for $45 and sell it to $72. What percentage profit is this? An art dealer buys a painting for $45 and sell it to $72. Okay, so 72 upon 45 multiplied by 100, and so it's going to be 160%, which means it got the profit of 60%. This is the profit. This is the answer. Question 6. Computer dropped from $1,200 to $700 in a year. What percentage decrease is this? So 700 upon 1200 multiplied by 100 is equals to and then using a calculator. So it's 58.3%, which means that if we try to make a subtraction to 100, then it got the loss of 41.7%. Question 7. Jared received a salary increase of 20%. After the increase in his salary is 31,260. What was his salary before the increase? Okay, so we need to find the original amount when his salary is 120%. So now I need to find the value of x. So 31260 upon 120 multiplied by 100 is equals to x. And if I try to use a calculator, 26050. So this was the original salary of Jared. This is the answer. Okay, same thing. Question 8. In a sale, all prices are reduced by 10%. Selma paid $38.70 for the dress in the sale. What was the original price of the dress? In a sale, all prices are reduced by 10%. Okay, so she paid the price of 38.70 and 90%. Okay, and then I'm going to use a calculator now. Dollars. Doing a 10% discount, giving a 10% discount, the price became $38.70. Okay, this is the answer. Question 9. The price of a dress is increased by 20%, then decreased by 40%, then increased by 25%. The final price is what percent of the original price? The price was, at first the price was increased by 20%, so 1.20, then decreased by 40%, so it's going to be 0.60, and then again increased by 25%, so 1.25. Now if you try to multiply all of this, then it's going to be, I'm using a calculator, which means it's 90% of the original price of the dress. So which means it is decreased by 10%. Decreased by 10%. So this is the answer. Ratio, proportion, unit, and percentage has been done. It has been completed. Now we will move on to topic 2, and then topic 2, simple interest and compound interest. So let's begin. Wages is an amount you earn, usually according to how many hours or day you work each week or month. It may be paid weekly or monthly. A salary is a fixed amount of money you earn each month or year from your job. It is paid monthly. What you earn is called your gross pay. Some employees, particularly sales staff, are paid a basic wage or salary plus a commission, which is usually a percentage of their sales. Now we have a question. Okay, Rob's basic annual pay is 9,600. He also earned 5% commission on the sales he make each month. In May, his sales are 7,500. What is his gross pay for May? So it says that Rob's basic annual pay, so which means it's given after every year. So we're going to divide this by 2, and then we're going to find that how much he earns each month. 6,900 upon 12. So he earned $800 per month. Okay, and he also earned 5% commission on the sales he make each month. In May, his sales are $7,500. Okay, so he must have make a commission of 5% from that sale. So 7,500 multiply by 0.05. Okay, and let me use a calculator. His commission was $375. Okay, 800 plus 375. If I use a calculator, then it's going to be $1,175. This is his gross pay. Okay, his monthly salary and his commission, 5% commission. So $1,175. This is the answer. Simple interest is calculated as a percentage of the original amount. Compound interest is added to the original amount so that the amount of interest paid each year increases. So right now we have this question that Jonas has a saving account where that earned 3% interest, compounded annually. So it must be a compounded interest, compounded interest. One is saying that he earned 3% interest compounded annually, which means this must be a compound interest. Whenever you try to make a interest, you try to it added to the original amount, and then that amount, from that you get an interest 3%. Initial deposit was $1,000. Which of the following expressions give the value of the account after 10 years? Okay, so which of the following expression? Okay, let me say in this way that what is the value of the account after 10 years? So here I want to know the amount, and I've deposited $1,000. I will denote that as P, and wait, and yeah, I have a compound interest. I have an interest. Okay, so in order to find the interest, that how much interest I have earned, I can use P multiplied by rate, and so 1000 multiplied by 0.03%. okay, using that, and I will get $30. Okay, so A is equals to 1000 plus $30, so A is equals to 1030. So this is the first year. In the second year, I will repeat this whole thing all over again, and I have a new amount which is $1030. So again, I'm going to take the interest from this amount, since we know that this is compound interest, and every time whenever there's a compound interest, what we do here is, first of all, we take the interest, we earn the interest from the initial deposit, and then we try to add that interest into that amount. And then in the second year, okay, it is happening annually, since it says annually, compound interest annually. Then in the second year, we use that amount, that new amount, and then we try to take the interest from that amount as well, and then we add it up to this amount, and it gives a new amount. Okay, so the same thing applies here as well. So I'm going to take the interest, so 1030 multiplied 0.03, and I will get $30.9, and then I will add it up to this amount, so it's going to be 1060.9. okay, and then this process will repeat 10 times, but it's taking too long. So how are we going to do this real fast? The formula. Okay, we understand a little math. Okay, and the formula is A is equals to P multiplied by 1 plus R upon 100 N. So A is the amount, P is the initial deposit, or you can say principal, R is the rate, interest rate, and N is the number of years. And this is the formula for the compound interest. Okay, so it says $1,000 is the initial deposit, so 1000 multiplied by, we have this the interest on the compound interest is 3%, so 1.03, and we have to do this after 10 years. Okay, so of power 10, and then we'll get the amount after 10 years. Okay, 1.03 of power 10, and it's going to be 1343.9. This is the amount after taking the compound interest for 10 years. Okay, this is the answer. This is the amount. So we need to remember this formula. Okay, so yeah, this is the first year, then we're going to repeat this again. This is the second year, then repeat this again, and this is the third year, and we need to keep on going until 10, but it's taking too long. So to avoid wasting time, we will understand a little math. In the first year, the amount increased by 3%, and we will use this formula. Okay, so if in the second year, the amount increased by 3%. Again, in the third year, the amount increased by 3%. Seeing the pattern, we can say that, and this is the formula when having compound interest. Okay, another question. J puts an initial deposit of $400 into a bank account that earned 5% interest each year, compounded semi-annually. Semi-annually means after every 6 months, or maybe you can say 2 times in a year. Okay, what will be the equation what will be the equation? Give the total dollar amount A in the account after n years. So what? Okay, so $400 is the initial deposit, multiply by, and it says 5% interest each year, but compounded semi-annually. Okay, I want you guys to take a minute or two to understand this beautiful concept. Okay, so it says earn a 5% interest each year. So each year, I mean, in every year, let's say in 1 year, 5% interest. Okay, but it's saying that compounded semi-annually, which means semi-annually means and in every 6 months it will be interest will be done on that. Okay, there will be an interest. So in 1 year it will be done 2 times, or you can just write it down as in 6 months, every 6 months it will be done 1 time. And so what will be the interest in every 6 months? It can be 5, it cannot be 5% because it's for 1 year. So we're going to divide this by 2, 5% by 2, and it's going to be 2.5% every 6 months. So it's every 6 months it's going to be 2.5%. Okay, so 2.5%, and it's going to be done 2 times in a year. This is the formula. Okay, and the interest is compounded semi-annually. That means twice a year. The 5% interest is a yearly figure dividing by 2 to get the semi-annual rate 2.5%. Question: investor decide to offer a business owner a 20,000 loan at simple interest of 5% per year. Which of the following function gave the total amount in dollars the investor? I should write it down. What will be the following function? Okay, what will be the following function? Give the total amount in dollars the investor will receive when the loan is repaid after n years. So $20,000 multiply by 0.05 to get the interest, and the interest will be dollars every year. Okay, which means since we know that this is a simple interest, and this interest will not be added to the original amount, so it's not going to it's not going to be added to the original amount. You will get this separately. Okay, you will get this annually. So yeah, it will get n years after you have failed to repay the loan. And then how much the investor will receive when the loan is repaid after n years. The more you try to waste your time, the more time it take, the more years it will take, the more interest that the investor will get. Okay, so $1,000 the investor will get the $1,000 interest every year, but not compoundedly, but it's simply. So it's saying that so 20,000 plus 20,000 multiplied by 0.05 multiplied by n is the amount that the investor will receive. This is the formula for the simple interest. Okay, the formula for simple interest. Good. This question is about simple interest and not compound interest. At a simple interest of 5%, the investor will receive 20,000 multiplied 0.05 interest each year. So this is how it is. So this is the formula. Okay, so in simple interest and compound interest done. And now we're going to move to the next topic, exponential and exponential relationships. Okay, so topic 3, let's start with topic 3. Topic 3 is exponential relationships. So exponential and linear. Let's begin. Exponential growth. The value increases in proportion to its current value, such as always doubling. The amount of each stage is multiplied by a number greater than 1. Y is the final amount after t intervals, a is the initial amount, and x is the rate at which we are multiplied by. Okay, so y is the final amount after t intervals. Okay, so t intervals, a is the initial amount, and x is the rate that we multiply by. Okay, and x must be greater than 1. The amount of at each stage is multiplied by a number greater than 1. Okay, so it will go like this. Y is the x of power t. Exponential decay, it is the opposite of the exponential growth. Y is equal to xt, where x is less than 1. Okay, similar, quite similar. X greater than 1, exponential growth. X less than 1, exponential decay. Now linear growth and linear decay. Okay, both exponential decay and linear decay are example of a negative association. Both exponential growth and linear growth are example of a positive association. Strong positive association. weak positive association, because you can see that the gradient is positive. Strong negative association, weak negative association. It is strong association because the points are closer to one another. Okay, so now we have a question. Okay, so we have the equation. We have the question that if the initial population of rat, it's not rate, it's RAT. Rat means mouse, was 20 and grew to 25 after the second year, what gives the function best model the population of rat p with respect to the number of years p if the population growth of rat is considered to be exponential. So first of all, we need to find the rate. Okay, so we need to find the rate, and we all know the best way to find, we have already learned about, in geometric progression, that whenever we try to find the rate, we always try to divide the second term by the first term. So in this case, 25 upon 20 will give 1.25. This is the rate r. Okay, and yeah, so p is the final population, and 20 is the initial population multiplied by 1.25 rate of power t. Okay, t is the time, number of years. So this is the answer. Okay, so we have done topic 3, exponential relationship, and now we're going to move to topic 4. So let's begin. Probability. The probability that an event will occur is a number between 0 and 1, often written as a fraction that indicate how likely it is that the event will happen. So yeah, 0 means the event will never happen, and 1 means the event will definitely happen. This is how you take the probability. Number of ways for event to occur divided by the total number of possible outcomes. For example, let's say that we have the spinner. The probability of getting a 2 is 1 upon 6 because there is 1, 2. The probability of getting an even number is this, 2 upon 6, because there are 2 even. The probability of getting an odd number is 4 upon 6. The probability of not getting a 2 is 1 minus 1 upon 6, which is 5 upon 6. The probability of getting a 23 is 0 upon 6 because there is no 23. But the probability of getting a 2 or 7 is, we add up the probabilities and we get this. This is mutually exclusive. 2 or more events are mutually exclusive if they cannot both occur at the same time. The probability of getting any number, all of the number, is 1. The probability of all mutually exclusive events will add up to 1. Independent events. The outcome of a second event is not affected by the outcome of the first event, and the two events can occur at the same time. Questions. A bag contains 4 balls and 2 red balls. 2 balls are to be drawn one by one with replacement. Let A be the event that 2 red balls are drawn. This is the tree diagram. First draw and second draw. This is the event A, that 2 red balls are drawn. This is the possibility diagram. K is the event picking the first blue ball, M is the event picking the second red ball. Determine whether event K and M are independent events. And yes, they are both independent events, hence prove they are independent events. They can occur at the same time without any relation between that. The probability of the second event depends on what happened in the first event. Question. A bag contains 4 balls and 2 red balls. 2 balls are to be drawn one by one without displacement. Another tree diagram, and this time this is without replacement. Part 1. Find the probability that one ball is blue and one ball is red. And part 2. Find the probability that 2 balls are chosen. 2 blue balls are chosen. We're starting with part 1. Okay, there are 2 possibilities. We added them up and got 8 upon 15. As for part 2, find the probability that 2 blue balls are chosen. So, yeah. And this is the probability for taking 2 balls, one by one without replacement. Question. The table below shows the number of workers in California with at least 1 year of experience in 5 different construction-related occupations. Based on the table, if a plumber in California is chosen at random, what is the probability that the plumber has at least 4 years of experience? This is the answer. Part 2. If a worker with at least 4 years of experience is chosen at random from those included in the table, what is the probability that the person is a plumber? Probability is done. Categorical, numeric, and true group data. Mean, median, mode. The mode is the value that appears most often in a set of data. The median is a middle number in a list of number ordered from lowest to highest. So order is very important when taking out the median. we're going to do this in ascending order. Then we're going to use the formula to find the median, and it is in the 5th position, so 9 is the median. Let's take another example and let's use the formula again. So we got 5.5, 5 plus 6 upon 2, so 4th is the answer. 4 is the median. The mean is the total of all the values divided by the number of values. The mean is known as the average. The range is the difference between the lowest value and the highest value. Collecting and grouping data. Number of calls, frequency, number of calls multiplied by frequency. Frequency, we all know what is a frequency. Repetitions. Work out the mode, mean and median. We know what is a mode. 1 is a mode because it has the highest number of frequency. As for the median, 20 plus 1, 10.5, which means it's in here. 1 plus 2.2, so 1.5 is the median. As for the mean, number of calls multiplied frequency upon frequency, and so 1.85 calls is the mean. Group and continuous data. The frequency table shows some information about the height of a year group in a school. This is the table. We got the class and midpoint and frequency. State the model class. 25. Okay, this is the model class. State the class which contains the median. 33th. Okay. 27, 51. So this is the median 33 lies in this class. Okay. Estimate the range. Midpoint of final class minus midpoint of first class is equals to range. That's why midpoint is really important. First of all, we're going to take the midpoint of the first class and midpoint of the final class. Then we will try to do the subtraction. Midpoint of final class minus midpoint of first class is equals to range. So 30 is the range. Now calculate an estimate of the mean. In order to find the mean, first of all, we're going to take out the midpoint and then multiply by the frequency upon frequency. Then we can get the estimate mean, which is 171.3 centimeter. Statistical diagrams. Frequency diagram and frequency polygon. Okay. So we got the class, we got the midpoint, and we can draw in this way. Vertical bar chart with no gap between the bar, frequency polygon. Yeah. In a frequency polygon, a single point is used to represent each group. This point is plotted at the midpoint of the group and shows the frequency for the group. Question. The histogram above shows the number of books read last year by 20 editors as a publishing company. Which of the following could be the median number of books read by 20 editors? Okay. Question. The average height of 14 students in one class is 63 inches. The average height of 21 students in another class is 68. Okay, if the two classes are combined, what is the average height in inches of the student in the combined class? So the average height of 14 students in one class is 63 inches. 63 x upon 14. Okay, and the average height of 21 students in another class is 68 upon 21. Okay, if you multiply it, then we will get, so I'm using a calculator, 892. Okay. And as for the second one, 1428. Okay, we add them up. And 14 plus 21, and we will get, using a calculator, is the answer. Because of for the combined class, if the two classes are combined, what's the average height? So the answer is 66. is the average height of the combined class. Outliers and standard deviation. Outliers. A data set may have a few values that are much larger or smaller than the rest of the values in the set. These values are called outliers. An outlier may represent an important piece of data. Outliers affect the mean more than the median. Therefore, outliers that are larger than the rest of the points in the dataset tend to make the mean greater than the median, and outliers that are smaller than the rest of the points in the data set tend to make the mean less than the median. So outliers is a huge thing, It makes a huge difference when they are outliers. These are data set that is different than other data set, much larger or smaller than the rest of the values in the set. Okay. For example, a dot plot above summarizes the number of flights taken in a year by 19 college students. If the student who took 6 flights in a year is removed from the data set, which of the following correctly describe the changes to the statistical measure of the data? So this right here is an outlier, okay, because it is different from the rest of the data. The mean decreases, yes, of course, it affects the mean and it affects the range as well, but it doesn't affect much the median. The median would look the same. So it affects the mean and the range. So the answer is C. The student who took 6 flights in a year is called an outlier, an extreme data point that is far outside where most of the data lies. Because this outlier is greater than the rest of the data, it brings the average mean up. It also increases the range since there is a larger gap between the minimum and the maximum. When the outlier is removed, the mean decreases and the range decreases. The median, however, is unaffected. Standard deviation. Standard deviation is the average distance from the mean value. It tells us how far away the points in the data set are from the mean value. Question on SAT math test, you will not be asked to calculate the standard deviation of a data set. A larger standard deviation corresponds to a data set whose values are more spread out from the mean value. If the values of the data set are more closely clustered around the mean, then that data set will have a smaller standard deviation. For example, as you can see here that class A and class B, we have the data set. The dot plots shows distribution of scores on a current event quiz for 2 classes of 24 students. Which of the classes have the smaller standard deviation? This one. Because most of the more than 50% of the data set is more close to the mean, which means it has a smaller standard deviation. While in class B, the values are more spread out. So if the data are more spread out, then it will have a larger standard deviation than class A. Okay, so A is the answer. First, you will calculate the mean. As you can see that in class A, most of the scores are more closely clustered around the mean. So class A. And in class B, the scores are more spread out and not so many scores close to the mean. Scatter plot. This how. The scatter plot above shows the relationship between age in years and shoe size for 24 males between 10 and 20 years old. The line of best fit is also shown. Based on the data, how many 90 years old male had a shoe size greater than the one predicted by the line of best fit. Let's read this again. Based on the data, how many 19 years old males, okay, 19 years old males had a shoe greater than the one predicted by the line of best fit? 2. It's above the line of best fit, okay? So 2 is the answer. Another question is coming up. The plot above shows the number of traffic lights in 15 towns and the average weekly number of traffic light violations that occur in each town. The line of best fit is also shown. Based on the line of best fit, which of the following is predicted average weekly number of traffic light violation in a town with 75? Okay, 75, which means it's right here. So it's saying the line of best based on the line of best fit, which of the following is the predicted average weekly number of traffic light violation in traffic? 75 traffic lights. It's predicted and it's about 55. Okay, according to the line of best fit. So yes, it's 55. Question: in a psychological study, a researcher asked participants to each complete a difficult task for a cash prize, the amount of which varied from the participant to participant. The result of the study as well as the line of best fit are shown in the scatter plot above. Which of the following is the best interpretation of the meaning of the y-intercept of the line of best fit? Okay, what does this mean? If the line crosses the y-intercept, it means that, okay, If the line crosses the y-intercept, then the y-intercept means that he will get 0 price in dollar if he did 60 mistakes. So which of the following options are correct? The expected decrease in the number of mistakes made per dollar increase in cash price? No. The expected increase in the number of mistakes made increase? No. No. Or maybe right. The expected dollar amount of the cash price required for a person to complete the task with 0 mistakes? No. The expected number of mistakes a person makes in complete the task with no cash price is offered? Yes. Okay, both are slightly correct. Which one of these are correct? The expected decrease in the number of mistakes made per dollar increases in the cash price. The expected number of mistakes a person makes in completing the task with when no cash price is offered. This one is right. Okay, this one is telling that when crossing the y-intercept, the expected number of mistakes a person makes in completing the task when no cash price is offered. So no cash price is offered when you do 60 total mistakes. Okay, yeah, D is the answer, since it is talking about the y-intercept. Okay, another one. The scatter plot above shows the fat content and calorie count of 8 different cups of ice cream based on the line of best fit to the data shown. What is the expected increase in the number of calories for each additional gram of fat in a cup of ice cream? Based on the line of best fit to the data shown, what is the expected increase in the number of calories for each additional gram of fat in a cup of ice cream? Okay, it says what is the expected increase in the number of calories for each additional gram of fat in a cup of ice cream. So we need to find the gradient. Okay, so 420 minus 340 and 30 minus 20. Okay, so 420 minus 340 and 20 and 30 minus 20, and I'm going to use a calculator. So the answer is 8. 8 is the answer, which means part B is correct. Yes, part B is correct. Statistical sampling. The goal of statistics is to be able to make prediction and estimation based on limited time and information. For example, a researcher wants to estimate the mean number of hours each week that the 1200 students at a high school spend on the internet. Interviewing all 1200 students would be a time consuming, and so it would be more efficient to survey a random sample of the students. It must be a random selection in order to protect against bias and increase the reliability of any values calculated. Taking a random sample to make an estimation of what the actual mean might be. The sample mean is used to estimate the population mean. And so we have this question. A pet food store chooses 1000 customers at random and asks each customer how many pets he or she has. The results are shown in the table above. There are a total of 18,000 customers in the store's database. Based on the survey data, what is the expected total number of customers who own 2 pets? Okay. Who own 2 pets, right? So yeah, 200 customer, taking a sample of 1000 customers, so out of 1200 customers have a pet of 2, so 2 upon 1000 multiply by the actual total number of 18,000 and we can get the number. So I'm using a calculator. 600. This is the answer. This is the answer using estimate mean to find the actual mean. Margin of error and confidence interval. Estimated population parameter need to be interpreted carefully. Statistical analysis can also describe how far from the estimate the actual values are expected to be at most. To describe the precision of an estimate, the statistician use margin of error. On the side, you will not be expected to compute a margin of error, but you should understand how sample size affect the margin of error and how to interpret a given margin of error in the content. Let's say that if you have taken a random sample of 80 students out of 1200, the actual mean was 14 hours with an associated margin of error 1.2 hours. A plausible population parameter, or the mean number of hours for all 100 students in the population, is greater than 12.8 hours but less than 15.2. The true mean is likely to be between 15.2 and 12.9, but this interval is called confidence interval. The margin of error is affected by two factors: variability in the data and the sample size. The larger the standard deviation, the larger the margin of error. The smaller the standard deviation, the smaller the margin of error. Increasing the size of the random sample provides more information and reduces the margin of error, since different samples of the same population will give different results, known as sampling error, but it can be reduced by increasing the sampling size. We typically can't control the standard deviation of the data, how spread out it is, but we can control the sample size. But it's too costly and time consuming to gather data from everyone and everywhere. That's why. A quality control researcher at an electronic company is testing the life of the company's batteries in a certain camera. The researcher selects 100 batteries at random from the daily output of the battery and finds that the life of the batteries has a mean of 342 pictures and associated margin of error of 18 pictures. Which of the following is the most appropriate conclusion based on these data? Okay. Again, reiterating this, the researcher selects 100 batteries at random from the daily output of the batteries. Okay. One thing to note here, it says daily output of the batteries, and finds that the life of the battery has a mean of 342 pictures with an associated margin of error of 18 pictures. Okay, and it selects 100 batteries at random from the daily output. Okay, from the daily output. So which of the following is correct? All the batteries provided by the company today have a life between 30. Okay, that is not correct, because it's saying that it is taking out from the daily output. Not all of them are the same. It was from the daily output of the batteries. All the batteries ever produced by the company have a no. It is plausible that the mean life of battery produced by the company that day is between 324 and 360. Yes. It is plausible that the mean life of all the battery ever produced by the company. No. Okay, it is plausible. It can be said that the mean life of the battery produced by the company that day is between 324, which means 342 minus 18, so it's going to be 324, and 360 picture, which means 342 plus 18, so it's 360. So it's between these two numbers. Okay, so C is the correct answer. Confidence interval. Confidence interval tells you where the true mean for the population is likely to be. For example, environmentalists are testing pH level in a forest that is being harmed by acid rain. They analyzed water sample from 40 rainfall in the past year and found that the mean pH of the water sample has a 95 confidence interval of 3.2 to 3.8. What does it mean in statistic to be 95 confident in something? If the experiment were repeated again and again, each with 40 water samples, 95% of those experiments would give us a confident interval 3.2 to 3.8 that contains the true mean, but the other 5% will not. The higher the confidence, the more likely the true mean fall within the interval. In SAT, calculation of the confidence interval is not required, but need to be aware that this is how confidence is defined in statistics. Question. The length of a blue spotted salamander's tail can be used to estimate its age. A biologist selects 80 blue spotted salamanders at random and finds that the average length of their tail has a 95 confidence interval of 5 to 6 inches. Which of the following conclusion is the most appropriate based on the confidence interval? Okay, so we have these following options. Which of them is correct? Starting with A. 95% of all blue spotted salamanders have a tail that is between 5 and 6 inches in length. Okay, I don't think so, or maybe, yeah, it could be right. 95% of all the salamander, no, it's only talking about blue spotted. The true average length of all the tail of the tail of all blue spots is likely between 5 and 6 inches. Yes, it could be true. The true average length of all the tail, no, this is not, because it's only talking about blue spotted salamander's tail. Okay, either A is correct or C is correct. Which one of these are correct? Let's see. It's saying the true average length of the tail of all blue spotted salamander is likely to be between. It's not saying that it is confirmed, but it's saying that it is likely, because this is what statistic gives us. It gives us information, but it's not necessary to be correct. Okay, it's likely between 5 and 6 inches. which is why C is correct. A is saying that it has that they have a tail that is between 5 and 6 inches. It's talking about fact. Even though statistic is used to give information, it's not always necessary that it is true. Okay, that's why this one is wrong and this one is correct. So C is the correct answer. Experimental design and conclusion. Investigating relationship between variables and to draw conclusion about cause and effect. If the subject in the sample of a study was selected and random from the entire population in question, the result can be generalized to the entire population because random sampling ensures that each individual has the same choice to be selected for the sample. If the subject in the sample were randomly assigned to treatments, it may be appropriate to make conclusions about cause and effect because the treatment groups will be roughly equivalent at the beginning of the experiment other than the treatment they receive. In order for a result of a study to be generalized to the entire population and for a cause and effect relationship to be established, both random sampling and random assignment of individuals to treatment are needed. Example, researchers want to see whether medication X is affecting in treating the flu. People with the flu from the general population are randomly selected. Using a coin toss, head or tail, researchers randomly assign each person to either medication X or a placebo sugar pills. More people in the medication X group experience a reduction in flu symptoms. We can conclude that medication X causes a reduction in flu symptoms. This conclusion can be generalized to the entire population of the people with the flu. Okay. Researchers conducted an experiment to determine whether exercise improved students' exam scores. They randomly selected 200 students who exercise at least once a week and 200 students who do not exercise at least once a week. After tracking the student academic performance for a year, the researchers found that the student who exercise at least once a week performed significantly better on the same exam than the student who do not. Based on the design and result of the study, which of the following is an appropriate conclusion? There are 4 options. Exercise at least once a week is likely to improve exam score. Exercising 3 times a week improves exam score more than exercising just once a week. Any student who starts exercising at least once a week will improve his or his exam score. There is a positive association between exercise and student exam scores. Which we select is 200 students who exercise at least once a week and 200 who do not exercise at least once a week. After tracking the student academic performance for a year, the researcher found that the student who exercise at least once a week performed significantly better on the same exam than the student who do not. Okay, so I can say that it's not a fact because whether the person exercise or doesn't exercise. So D is the answer. You can say that there is a positive association between exercise and student exam score. Since we know that there is a random selection but a random assignment is not being made, which in conclusion cause and effect cannot be proven, we can only say that it's just associated with an improvement in exam scores. Okay, so random selection was made but not random assignment. And there you go, statistics is done, part 2 is done. Moving to part 3. Hello and welcome back. Okay, so now we are going to start with part 3, Passport to Advanced Mathematics. Okay, so let's begin. And we are going to cover these topics, starting with exponent and radicals. Laws of exponent. We are starting with exponent and radicals. And we are going to understand all these laws of exponent. This topic is quite similar in Olevel Math, referred to as indices. Okay. So these are the 10 laws, and also we need to understand a little bit about a logarithm. The logarithm tells what the exponent is, and this is the x. We use the logarithm to find the value of x. Yep. Okay. If 3 of power a plus 1 is equal to 3 of power minus a plus n, what is the value of a? Since the base are same, since the base are same, so we can write it down like this: minus a plus 7, a, so 2a 6, so a is equals to 3. The value of a is 3. Answer. In questions, if 2a is minus b is equal to 4, what is the value of this? Okay. Question 3, if this is equal to this, what's the value of x? Okay, question 4. What is the value of n? Question 5. What is the value of x of power 5 y power 5? Okay, topic 1 is done, and going to topic 2, it is quadratics. Okay. Quadratic equation is a polynomial equation of the second degree. The general form is this. Basic rule for quadratic expression. There are 3 ways to solve the quadratic equation. In a graph, it looks something like this. Okay, quadratic equation is a polynomial equation of the second degree. The general form is ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. There are 3 ways to solve the quadratic equation. Number 1 is, you know what, just wait. First of all, you need to understand the basic rule for quadratic equation. You need to understand that there are 3 types of doing the expansion. Okay, you must be familiar with this. Then you should also understand that if a is positive, then it's going to be a smiley curve, and if a is negative, then it's going to be it's going to be a sad curve. Okay, so yeah, a is positive, smiley curve; a is negative, sad curve. The graph of a quadratic function is a parabola whose axis of symmetry is parallel to the y-axis. Okay, C is the y-intercept, which means C is the y-intercept. Okay, so C, yeah, and these are the roots of the equation. Whenever we try to solve the quadratic equation, we always get these roots. Okay, we get these roots of a particular equation when we solve it. Okay, and this part is known as a vertex. We call this a vertex. Okay, vertex, or you can just call it maximum point and minimum point. This is minimum and this is maximum. Okay, just like I told you, the vertex of a parabola is a point where the parabola crosses the x-axis of symmetry. So there are 3 ways: factorization, completing the square, and quadratic formula. We're going to discuss one by one, starting with factorization. We can make a box. Now as for these 2 boxes, we need a pair of number which is multiplied to get minus 30, and addition or subtraction to get minus 7. And there you go, we get the factors. We break it down, then we take a common, then again take another common, and voila, you get the roots. At some circumstances, this method cannot be used to solve all quadratic equation because of the complexity. The other 2 methods are applicable. Completing the square is the most. I would recommend this method. It's very easy. It's not so bad. There you go. You got the root. You got the coordinates of the maximum. Okay. So this is known as completing the square. So here's what we did. Let's say that I have x squared minus 7x minus 30 is equals to 0. Alright. So one thing for sure, you need to understand one thing, that the coefficient of x must be 1. The coefficient of x must be 1. Okay. Since there is 1, so it's good. Okay. If let's suppose if the coefficient of x was 2, 3 or 5, then we would be forced to take a common to make it 1. Okay. So coefficient of x is 1. So what we're going to do is 30 will go to the right side, and then we're going to do completing the square by, okay, let's just see this, 7x plus minus 7 upon 2 square and minus 7 upon 2 square. So here's what we did. We take the middle term and then divide by 2 and put a square, and there you go. We have a completing the square. We have this is what we say. This is what we know. This, okay. So this is what we call completing the square. Okay, and 30 plus 49 upon 4 x minus 7 upon 2 square, 69 upon 4. Okay, so right now these 2 are the coordinates of the vertex. Look at here. This is the completing the square form. This is minus h and this is plus k. This is plus k. This is minus h. Okay. Same thing here. So If it is written minus 7 upon 2, then we will write it down as 7 upon 2, and we always change the sign. If it is written minus 169 upon 4, then we'll take it minus 69 upon 4, because the sign will not change for y, it will be changed for x. Okay. Yeah. This is the concept when doing completing the square. And in here I just, it's another way of remembering and how to do completing the square. The most easiest way is to remember it, but this is the concept. Okay. So here's what we did in here, that we take the middle number 7 and we divide by 2 and put a square. Okay, and then we take this number outside, we square it and do minus, and that's it. Then you get this. Okay, and you get the roots as well. How to read the coordinates of a vertex from standard completing the form equation. Okay, when we read h, we reverse the sign and then take the coordinate of x, but when we read k, we don't change the sign and then takes the coordinate of k. This is how we get the coordinates of the vertex. Okay, this is another example. So 3x square plus 14x minus 5 is equals to 0. So here's what I'm going to do. 3x square plus 14 is equals to 5, and then since I know that I want the coefficient of x squared to be 1, the coefficient of x squared to be 1, so I'm going to take a common of 3, 1x squared plus 14 upon 3. Okay, then 3 will go to the right side, and we got this 14 upon 3. And now we are going to do the completing the square. So x squared plus 14 upon 3 plus 14 upon 3 divided by 2. Okay, and then you just square it. In here, 14 upon 3 divided by 2 square. And so you got this 14 upon 6 square. And I'm going to use a calculator. 5 upon 3 plus 14 square, 6 square. So 64 upon 9. There you go. You got the x coordinate, which is minus 14 upon 6. Or you could just, 2 3s are 2 7s are 14. It's actually 7 upon 3. So you got the coordinate, which is minus 7 upon 3. And you got the y coordinate, which is minus 64 upon 9. Because, if I try to write it down in standard form, then it's something like this. 64 upon 9 is equal to 0. Okay, so this is the y coordinate and this is the x coordinate, and we try to change the sign as well. These are the coordinates of the vertex, and if I wanted to, I could just solve it even further to get the roots, but I'm not going to do that because it's quite easy. Okay, this one is alternative, the other way around to solve it. Just see it carefully. I just first of all just take the common, and then you got the roots. You got the coordinates and you got the roots as well. The sum and product of the roots. Okay. What is the sum and product of the roots of this equation? The interesting thing about this is that you can find the sum or the product of the roots without knowing the roots. This means the sum and product of the roots, which means the sum of the roots is, sum of the roots. Let's say alpha plus beta is sum. The sum of the roots is minus b upon a, and the product of the roots is c upon a. Okay, this is the product of the roots. Okay, and when you have been asked that what is the sum and product of the roots of this equation, you put this minus 4, and a is this minus 4, you got the sum, and you put this minus 21, you got the product. So the interesting about this is that you can find the sum or the product of the roots without knowing the roots themselves. Okay, quadratic formula. So see it carefully. This is how you do this. This is a quadratic formula. You just use it and then you find the roots. But it's a long method. I mean, it took you a lot of time, but still it's a method. And b square minus 4ac is known as a discriminant. It helps you to find whether the curve has a 2 real roots or 1 real roots or 2 imaginary roots, and determine that we can use a discriminant to find whether any equation such as the curve intersects the x-axis either 2 times, 1 time, or no intersection. We can also use the discriminant to find the number of intersections between 2 equations, for example between a line and a curve, or no intersection at all. Okay, Find the discriminant of the equation of the curve minus x squared plus 6x minus 10. We got the equation, we put that in the, put the values. We got t is equal to minus 4. D is less than 0, which means the curve does not intersect the x-axis and it will have two imaginary roots. And if we solve the equation, then the roots are imaginary. Find the discriminant of the equation 1 square minus 4x minus 21. We use it, we put the values, and we got t is equal to 100. It is greater than 0, which means it has two real roots. It is intersecting it. Find the discriminant of the equation of the curve 4x square minus 12x plus 9. Okay, put the values, and we got 0, which means it has one real root. Intersect the x-axis at one point and it will have one real root. How many times does the graph of y is equal to minus x squared plus 6x plus 3 intersect the line y is equal to 10 in the xy plane? So now we have two equations and we need to see how many times the equation intersect one another or no intersection at all. Okay. So we got these two equations. First we will substitute one equation to the another. And then we will use a discriminant to find the number of intersection between them or no intersection at all. Use the values, and we found that d is equal to 8, d is greater than 0, which means there's two intersection between the line and a curve. And there you go. In the system of equation, k is a constant. What is the value of k for which the system of equation have no real solutions? Okay, it's already telling you that there is no really real solution, which means d is less than 0. Okay, so substitution. Since the system of equation has no solution, which means that the discriminant is less than 0. And there you go, we have found the values. Quadratic is done. Function and their graphs. Topic 3. What is a function? A function is a process that changes a set of input numbers into a set of output numbers. For example, y is equal to x squared plus 2. We have this graph. This is a graph of, the domain is this and the range is this. The association between x and y is called a relationship from x to y. The question is this relation a function? In order for a relation to be a function, one domain can have one range can have two domains. For a graph, it must have passed the vertical line test, not intersecting the graph more than once in a vertical line test. Okay? So this is the vertical line test, and we can say that not intersecting a point more than once, so it passed. This is a function. We can guarantee that. Yes, this is a function. Let's say that we have another equation of a line. Is this line a function? Using a vertical line test, and yes, this is a function because it is intersecting not more than once. It is intersecting one time. Another one, is this equation a function? And no, this is not a function because it is intersecting more than once. So clearly this is not a function. This is how you determine whether an equation is a function or not. Undefined range. The domain of a function y is equal to fx consists of all real numbers x except those for which fx is undefined. Taking a square root or any even root of a negative number, dividing by 0. These are two ways. It goes to infinity. Could give the imaginary number, not real number, so which is why this is known as undefined range. Inverse function. How to find the inverse? What is the inverse of this equation 2x plus 3? What is the inverse of this line? See it carefully. Now changing position from y and x. Changing positions and then make y the subject, and there you go, you have find the inverse. And in a graph, the inverse would look something like this. And if you pass the vertical line test, then you can say that the inverse of this equation is a function. Yeah. Find the inverse of this and prove whether this inverse is a function or not. Okay, y is equal to x squared plus 2. This is a curve, equation of a curve. And we need to find the inverse, and we need to know that whether this inverse is a function or not. If it is passing the vertical line test, or if the original equation is passing the horizontal line test one time, but no, intersect more than once, this proves that the inverse of this fx is not a function. We can use the horizontal line test on fx to confirm whether the inverse of fx is a function or not. Vertical line test on inverse of fx is another alternative to see if inverse of fx is a function or not. Movement of a function ax squared plus bx plus c. We already know this. see the y-intercept, and so we have this. Okay. Changing b moves the axis of symmetry of the graph in the x direction. If a and b have the same sign, the axis of symmetry is to the left of the y-axis. If a and b have the opposite signs, the axis of symmetry is to the right of the y-axis. This is optional. If you don't want to learn this, you can skip it, but still, knowledge is beautiful. Straight to the right. We have created the graph. Let's see the button on how to move it. Up, down, left, right. Yeah. Okay. Just see it carefully. It's a little tricky, but it's really easy if you just get a hang of it. Combining functions. If x is in the domain of both f and g, this is a combining function. Let this gx plus 5 and this xy plus x minus 5. Let's see each examples. Let's see how to work with it. Okay. So this is a combining function. Questions. Okay, so we have this question: express 2x squared plus 8x minus 10 in the form of this. For the curve y is equal to 2x squared plus 8x minus 10. And okay, starting with part 1, using the completing the square. Got the vertex coordinates. Part 3, find the set of values of x for which y is greater than 14. We got two equations. Okay, we're going to substitute it. The line is going up when y is greater than 14. Okay, I forgot to tell you guys that there are two types of function: one-to-one function and and many-to-one function. A one-to-one function is, example, a line. A line is a one-to-one function. Okay, if one input, one output. So this is a one-to-one function. And what happens if we got the curve? So this curve is a many-to-one function, which means two input and one output. Because if you give the value of 1 and minus 1, then it will give the same value. Let's say suppose 2. Okay, so it's a two input, one output, so it's a many-to-one function. So there are two types of function: one-to-one function and many-to-one functions. Okay, as for this one, okay, the domain of fx will become the inverse. Will become the range of fx minus 1, which means the inverse, and the range of fx will become the domain of inverse of x. Okay. Another question: the function h x is equal to x squared minus 6 is defined for the domain x greater than 3. Part 1, part 2. Let's do it. Okay, so what we're doing the completing the square. Found it, the standard form completing the square. We graph it. There you go. We got the domain, the range. Then we get the inverse. Composition of function. A more important way to combine two functions is to form their composition. Symbol is this. The composition of two functions f and g is this. A function of a function, if you want to call it. Suppose there are two functions, and this is the example. The composition of f and g can be formed only if some of the numbers in the range of g are in the domain of f. The function f is defined by fx is equal to 3x plus 1 for x less than a, where a is a constant. The function g is defined by gx is equal to minus 1 minus x squared, and x less than minus 1. Find the largest value of a for which the composite function gf can be formed. Okay. This is a composite function. The range of one function becomes the domain of another. Part 2. Now we're going to see the domain, and -2 is including the domain, which means this one is right, the other one is wrong. Part 3. Okay. And behavior of a function. If the degree n is an even number, both ends of the graph leave the coordinate system at either the top or bottom. X square, even function is for you. So going from, at the same. The degree n is an odd number, then the end of a graph leaves the coordinate system at opposite end. What functions? Opposite ends. Increasing function and decreasing functions. Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's how it is. Ooh. Wow. Good. Okay. This is a positive gradient. This is a negative gradient. This is a positive gradient. Since it's a positive gradient, it's an increasing function. It's a positive gradient, increasing function. It's a negative gradient, decreasing function. These are the stationary points. Okay. You can call it a maximum point or a minimum point, and gradient is 0. Okay. You can call it the vertex point. If it is a smiling curve, then this side is increasing function, this side is decreasing function, m is equal to 0. If it is a sad curve, then this side is decreasing function, this side is increasing function. Okay, let's move on. Function is done. Hooray. Absolute value. The absolute value of a number x denoted x this between two lines is the distance between x and 0 on the number line. Either this side or this side, same thing. Okay, the same distance, it's the same distance. That's why we denoted this. Okay. A modulus function is a function which gives the absolute value of a number or variable. Okay, one thing for you guys to understand, that whenever it is denoted as this, it means that it does whether you put a -4 or +4, but it will always give a positive output. Doesn't matter if you give a positive input or a negative input, it will always give a positive output. This is the meaning of modulus function. Okay, a modulus function is a function which gives the absolute value of a number or variable. It is a function which gives a positive output irrespective of the input. That means even if the input is negative value of x, there will always be a positive value of x. Okay. For example, this is the example y is equal to x modulus. Y will always be positive whether x is negative or positive. You need to understand this one as well. Okay, these two things you need to understand and remember. Solve the inequality. And there you go, that's how you do it. Okay. There's nothing to describe it here because I'm already showing you guys this animation. Okay. Solve the inequality this. Yeah, you could just do it like this as well. Same thing. Absolute value is done. Polynomial. Method of solving polynomial equation. Comparison method, factor theorem, remainder theorem. Comparison method is my favorite. That's why I would recommend you guys to do with this one. Okay. The polynomial x of power 3 minus 8x minus 3 is denoted by px. It is given that this is a factor of this, factorize this. Okay. R is a remainder, but since it is 0, since we know that this is a factor, so R will be remain. Now we're going to expand this, and then we're going to compare it. Now it's time to compare. And then we get the values. A is equals to 1, B is equals to 3, C is equals to 1. And then you put it. You got the values. Factor theorem. Substitute each of the number in turn into the equation and determine whether it is a root. The factor theorem states that if f is equal to 0 for a polynomial, then this is a factor of this. 0's remainder. Here's what we did. Let's say that we have this equation, yeah, and we have been asked that prove it that let's say that the root is 3. Let's say the root is 3, or you can just, let's say this is a factor of this equation. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to put 3 in it, and it's going to give 0, obviously, because since it is a factor, it will give a 0 remainder. Okay, and we put 3 in here as well, and so we're going to prove it. And yeah, hence proof this is a factor, x is equal to 3 is the root. Okay, remainder theorem. What is the remainder when p is this was divided by x minus 2? X minus 2 is not a factor, but we're going to find out what is the remainder. So this is the remainder. Okay, another question. Find the question and the remainder. Okay, comparison method. We can also use the comparison method. And then after that we're going to compare it. Now it's time to compare, and then we get the values. Minus 2 is equals to C. Okay, then we also get the remainder. Okay, yeah. Okay, this one is really important. You guys must remember this sequence, this the way it is written, because these type of you will always get these kind of questions literally. So you need to remember the way I'm doing this. So question plus remainder upon divisor. This is how you need to written it. Write it down. Whenever you try to divide a polynomial by another number, x cube plus 2x square minus 5x plus 1 is divided by x minus 1. You do the comparison method, you find the values, you got the quotient, and then yeah, so you put the quotient, and yeah, you also got the remainder. The remainder is minus 1, so it's minus 1 upon x minus 1 divisor. Okay, so you need to remember this standard form. Okay, another question using a comparison method as always. Now it's time to compare. Then you get the values. Okay, this is how you do it. Another question. You can again use the comparison method. Now it's time to compare. Get the values. Find the value of a and the remainder. 6 is the question, and you put it. Okay, and polynomial is done. Part 3. Congratulations, you have completed three parts of SAT Math Level 1. Hooray! And it's time for part 4. Oh, we're going to start with part 4, additional topics in maths, and yeah, let's begin. These are the topics that we're going to cover in this part, additional topic in math. These are the topics, starting with line and angles. Starting with what is an angle. Angle is 0 to 360 degree maximum. Starting, you can go anywhere, either clockwise or anti-clockwise. In here I'm going for anti-clockwise. It also comes in trigonometry. Okay, 90 right angle, a 180 straight line, acute angle, and this obtuse angle, and this is a reflex angle. These are types of angles that you need to remember it. Angles form within parallel lines. Just see how angles are equal, how many of the angles are equals. Okay, corresponding angles are equal. A is equal to F. Interior angles add up to 180 degree. Always remember it. Angles formed by intersection of lines. Yeah, very important. Triangles. This is a 9 right angle triangle. This is isosceles triangle, equal length and equal angle, 60 60 60. Okay, sorry, it is an equilateral triangle. This is isosceles triangle. This is scaling triangle. This is equilateral triangle. Okay, so this is we're starting with triangle. This is the right angle triangle. This is the equilateral triangle, which having equal lengths and equal side and equal angles. This isosceles triangle or having two sides which are equal. Okay, so equal angle. Yeah, this is a scalene triangle, and we need to understand an angle properties of an angle, that ABC will add up to 180 degree for all, and it applies for all triangles regardless of any shape. Quadrilaterals. This is a square. This is a rectangle. This is a parallelogram. Okay. Rhombus, trapezium, isosceles trapezium, kite. The sum of the angle in the quadrilateral is always 360 degree. Okay. Polygons. A polygon is a many-sided shape. When the sides of a polygon are all the same length and the angle of the polygon are the same, it is called regular polygon. Otherwise, the polygon is irregular. In a convex polygon called regular polygon, every internal angle is less than or equal to 180. Okay. Pentagon, hexagon, octagon, decagon. For n-sided convex polygons, sum of interior angle we'll use the formula, and for regular n-sided convex one interior angle we will use this formula for finding one interior angle. So yeah, inside is known as interior angle, outside is exterior angle. For n-sided convex polygons, sum of exterior angle will always be 360 degree. Add up the sum of these angles, and if you want to find the one exterior angle, then you will use this 360 upon n. Okay, since they are all equal. Similarity and congruence. Geometric figures that are exactly the same size and shape are said to be congruent. They are congruent if having same angles and same sides. Yeah. Side, angle, side, angle, side, angle, right angle, hypotenuse, side. When two figures are similar, they are exactly the same in shape but not in size. All corresponding angles are equal. SSS, all corresponding sides are proportional, which having the same ratio. And SAS, two pairs of proportional sides with equal included angle. Okay. Okay, there's a mistake. Actually, this actually cube, not 2. Since we are using volume to compare with. Okay, so it's going to be 3, and this one is square. Okay. Yeah. Trigonometry. Let's suppose this triangle, and we can use the hypotenuse theorem to find any side length. It is used to find the known length in right angle triangle. Hypotenuse is the longest side, obviously. Now we need to understand 3 most important things: sine, cos, tan. Okay. What is sine, cos, tan? Let's say that this is the theta that we want to find, and in front of the theta will be p, and then b. B is known as base, h is known as hypotenuse. But let's suppose if the theta is in here, then this will be p and this will be b. Okay, and this will remain as hypotenuse. This is how it is. So let's say that we have this question. It says to find the value of x and y. So let's find the value of x. Since we know the hypotenuse and we know the angle, so I can use a sine. Okay, sine 30 degrees equals to x upon 3. Okay, so 13 multiplied by sine 30 is equals to x, and I'm going to use a calculator. Okay, now we have found the value of x. Now finding the value of y, we can either use the Pythagoras theorem, and yeah, we are going to use the Pythagoras theorem. Okay, so h square p square plus p square. Okay, h is 10, p is 6.5 square, and b is, okay, we need to find the value of b, y square. So 10 square minus square is equals to y. Using my calculator, the value is 7.6. Y is equals to 7.6. Okay, this is the answer. Just using the scientific calculator to find the value of sine 30. We always use a scientific calculator. Okay. So these are the values. So question 2, it's the same thing as before. We are using the Pythagoras theorem to find the value of x. After finding the value of x, we will use tan, then tan inverse, using the scientific calculator to find the angle. And there you go, you found with the angle 75.1. Okay. Now starting with the real deal. Understanding trigonometry. Okay, you need to remember these identities. Yeah. General formula for the area of any triangle. Remember, see this carefully. In order to find the area of any triangle, let's break the triangle into two. And let's find the value of h. Okay, we have found the value of it. And then let's find the area of the true triangle and add them up. And so this is the formula. Okay, this is the formula. It says that if a multiply b and we have the theta, then we can find the area of this triangle. Okay, we can use any of the side and between these, the sine rule. What is the sine rule? Okay, this is the sine rule. Yeah, formula for sine rule. So what is the sine rule? Let's say that we have the c and we have a. So sine c upon c, sine a upon a, and this is known as the sine rule. So in here, sine c upon c, sine b upon b, sine a upon a. Okay. As for the cosine rule, and there you go, we have found the value. So this is the formula of the cosine rule, and it depends on, let's say that you have the theta a and you have c and b, and you need to find the value of a. So I'm going to use the formula a square is equal to c square plus b square minus 2bc matlab hai cos a. Okay, but let's suppose if I want to know the value of this one, so I'm going to and I've already know what is the value of this and this and this, so it's going to be like b square is equals to c square plus a square minus 2ac matlab hai cos b. Okay, and if I wanted to know the value of this one, and I already know this one and this and the angle c, so I'm going to write it down as c square is equals to a square plus b square minus 2ab matlab hai cos c. Okay, so this is how you use the cosine rule. Yeah, very easy. Okay, ambiguous case. This one is a little tricky. Just see it carefully what is meant by ambiguous case, which means possibility of any two triangles. This is a case of ambiguous case. Okay, so there are possibility of two triangles, 1 and 2. Two triangles formed. If a greater than b, then there is only one triangle. If a less than b and a less than h, then there are no triangles. A triangle is a candidate for the ambiguous case if we are being given two sides and an angle not in between. The given angle must be acute. There are two ways to check for ambiguous case. Number one, using this, and number two is checking the angle. Check for the ambiguous case, this one. Okay. So how to find it out? Okay, and there you go. 164.4 is less than 180, hence prove that there may be two possible triangles. Mensuration. Right angle triangle, this is the area, this is how you find the area, this is how you find the perimeter. Inequality triangle, this is how you find the area and the perimeter. Okay. The square, this is how you find the area then the perimeter. The rectangle, this is how you find the area and the perimeter. This is how you find the area, the perimeter. Okay. Okay. Simple solid figures in 3D. Prism, a solid has the same cross section running through it. Okay, mensuration. Now finding the volume and the total surface area. The rectangle, cuboid. Finding the volume and the total surface area. The cylinder. Finding the volume, the total surface area. The cone. Using Pythagoras theorem to find the value of the slant height, number 1, and then finding the volume and the total surface area. Oh, you can just, you find the total surface area by the slant height. You can easily find the volume. The sphere, finding the volume, the total surface area. Hemisphere, volume, the total surface area. Okay. And done. Triangle base pyramid, square base pyramid. Okay. Prism. Finding the volume and the total surface area. Area of cross section matlab L. Total surface area 2 matlab area of cross section plus perimeter of cross section multiplied by L. Yeah. Circle. This is the radius, this is the diameter, this is the chord, this is the tangent, and this is the segment, this is the sector, and this known as the arc length, and this whole thing known as the circumference, and then okay, inside is known as the area, pi r square. This is the arc length, how you find the arc length, how you find the sector area. 1 radian is the angle subtended by the arc length equal to the radius of the circle. Okay, so there's a different story for a radian. The symmetry properties of the circle. So this right here is a circle, and the perpendicular bisector of a chord passes through the center of a circle. Equal chord are equidistant from the center of the circle. The angle between tangent and radians of a circle is 90 degrees. Tangent to the circle from an external point are equal in length. The angle in a quadrilateral add up to 360 degrees, and this is how you can find the angle and sum up. The quadrilateral has 4 points of the quadrilateral touching the circumference of the circle. Whenever you get these kind of conditions, then you can understand that B plus T will add up to 180 and C plus A will add up to 180. So let's suppose that you have 75 degree for C and you want to find the value of A. So you can just write it down like 180 minus 75 is equals to, I'm using a calculator, and it's going to be 105, and so you can easily find the angle of A. Okay, but the condition is that the quadrilateral must be inside of a circle. It means each point must touch the circumference of the circle. Okay, this is the condition if you want to use this. Angle properties of a circle. Okay, a right angle triangle, angle in a semicircle is a right angle. Always remember the center point. It will be, which means A is equal to 2 matlab B. Doesn't matter which way it is, it will always remain the same. So D is equal to matlab 2. The same thing. Equation of a circle. The equation of a circle whose center is a point HK and whose radian is R is this. This is the equation of a circle. Okay, this is the equation of a circle, and HK is the center and radius R is the radius. You need to understand how to read the points. Okay. Note that the sign changes whenever we find out the coordinates of the center of the circle from the equation. If the center is at the origin 0, 0, then H is equals to K is equal to 0, and the equation reduces to this. Whether this or this, it's the same thing for this one, which means it is at the origin. Okay. Let's say that we have a circle, and now let me define you how to find the equation. There you go. This is the standard equation of a circle. and it doesn't matter which point you want to go at, it will always give the same equation. Find the center and the radius of each of the following circles. So we have all of these. We're going to do all of these. There you go. Part A is done. Then part B. Okay, part B is done. Part C. In here we're going to do completing the square. Now time for using the method known as completing the square. Okay. And there you go. We have found it. Now part D. First of all, we will take the common. It's always best. Then doing completing the square. Okay. There you go. And you have done the completing the square, and you just found it the equation. Yeah, this is the coordinates. Okay. Find the equation of each of the following circles. Okay. Radius 8 or this. Always give this. Yeah. Find the equation of the circle with center this passing through the point this. Put in here. And yeah, you get this. Question: a diameter of a circle has its end point at this and this. Find the equation of a circle. Okay. Get the points. Finding the middle term using the middle formula. Then you get the center points. Sign changes. We all know that. Now take any point. Either you can take it A or B, doesn't matter. So you just took A and you have found the equation. Okay. Done. Complex number. We use a simple I to denote the non-real number. This iota, you can call it iota. Just see the sequence. Okay, this one is a little bit tricky, but I need you guys to remember the sequence. Okay, if you remember the sequence, everything will be easy. Odd number of n leads to sign change of iota. Even number of n led to the sign change of 1. Okay, remember that for any positive integer n. If n is a multiple of 4, in is equal to 1. If n is not a multiple of 4, in is equal to I where r is the remainder when n is divided by 4. 375. Divide by 4, you get the quotient 3. Remember this. Okay, do this and you get 3. Okay, this is how you do it. Imaginary numbers. This is known as imaginary number. It does not exist in a real number line. Real part, imaginary part. This is how you write it. And this is known as complex number. Z is denoted as complex number. Complex number calculations. Let's say that we have two complex number. If you do the addition or subtraction or multiplication or then division, if so will, then you do it this way. Real number added to real number, imaginary number added to imaginary number. Same thing applies for subtraction and multiplication, except for multiplication. Division. The complex number a minus b iota is called the conjugate of a plus b iota. The product of a plus b iota and a minus b iota is this. This reduced to this a real number. The fact that the product of a complex number and its conjugate is in a real number can be used to perform division of complex number. Now in order to remove iota in the denominator and multiply both the top and bottom of the fraction by conjugate of the denominator, and you get this. That we have completed complex number as well, and so part 4 is done. So I congratulations to all of you that you have completed SAT Math level 1. Okay, if you have any question, you can comment me in the section below. Okay, I wish you guys happy learning and yeah, and good luck. Thumbs up for you guys. Thumbs up. Okay, and I really am happy. Good luck.